Hey, everybody. Well, anybody can have an accident, Matthew.
They
It's not like it's a big deal. I don't know why people don't want me driving anymore. I mean, it's only been one.
It's only been one time, and you're wondering
Uh-huh.
like, why don't?
Okay, so Matthew's being very well behaved. But let's say this is not the first accident.
But
This is
mom,
like, oh my
no,
Lord. I
yes,
mean,
no,
there's no
mom, you
mirror
can't.
on the passenger side.
You've had more.
Okay, so I'm showing clear evidence that something's going on. Or maybe you just went to the doctor and the doctor said, ooh, given her reaction time, I'm really concerned about her driving. Or it could be that I'm like not sure that this is a good idea anymore. I need people to take me where I need to go. So I need you to be able to. And it's like, okay. So there are all kinds of different reactions and responses to the idea of, oh boy, I'm not really able to do what I used to be able to do safely. Okay, there's a whole nother video on risk and safety. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother discussion we could have. But for right now, we're going to actually spend a few seconds looking at our app content, and it's free content. This is the app that's available for the Apple, it's available for the Android. And what it does is it has very short little clips about education and knowledge. And then it has other ones about skill development. And then it has a third set, a little bit longer, that are about reflections of supporting and being in care or having and living with dementia. So, what I want to do is share with you one that's related to family members who have dealt with driving. And it's sort of almost like a small support group. So, take a listen. You don't have to sign up for the support group. You get to listen in. And that's rare. Usually in support groups, people only, if you say it in the support group, it stays in the support group. These are amazing human beings who volunteered to share stories because they wanted the experience to move beyond the room and to be more available. And because Carolyn cared for her mom and dad, Royden cared for his mom, dad, and wife, and we have a third person who cared for her grandma at a distance. Ooh. All right, so let's take a listen and see how this sounds because this is what you can listen to. It's about, I think, what, 12, 15 minutes, Matthew?
Yeah, about 12 minutes long. Yeah.
About 12 minutes. So it's still not horrendously long, but it is longer than some of the other video clips. So let's take a listen and see what you think. Driving, or rather, reducing and then stopping driving for someone who's living with dementia. It's tricky, it's hard, and it's individual. So, Carolyn, you had mom and dad in your
Right?
life.
I did.
How were the driving issues for you?
Uh, Very different between the two. So
Okay.
my dad voluntarily gave up his keys to me after we took a ride and we jumped over 3 or 4 curbs and yep. And we got out of the car and he just walked over to me and gave you the keys and that was it.
Did
That was
he
it.
did he recognize that he'd
Yeah,
gone
he
over the
did.
curbs?
He
And he
did.
said, I guess I'm not good
Yep.
at this anymore. And he
Yep.
just gave you the keys. And did he ever
That's
signal a regret?
Nope.
Now he had Lewy body dementia.
He had Lewy body
So
dementia, correct.
when he did acknowledge it, it stuck with him that I'm not driving anymore.
Correct. And he
Okay.
had my mom, who was totally a chauffeur. She
Yeah,
would take
and she
him
was fine
wherever he
driving,
wanted
wherever
to
he
go,
wanted to go.
whenever. So
So he could still go
he
where
could
he
still
wanted
go
to
where
as
he
went.
wanted to
And he
go.
didn't
Okay, so I'm
have
going
a
to pause
huge
this here for
investment
just a
in
second.
being. So, Matthew, what are the kinds of things that listening to someone who had that particular experience, how was that helpful?
It's nice to know that there is the possibility, the potential that the person could recognize and be like, yeah, you know what, you're right, here you go, versus the immediate jump to the dread of they're going to fight me, they're going to be upset, this is going to be horrible, there's no other way it's going to go other than really bad. So it
Yeah.
gives me like light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, or some other analogy that talks about there is a positive potential. Don't always think it's going to be negative.
So I might be in that category. At least there's a possibility if I haven't done it yet. Or, geez, I wish I had been in that category because boy, did I handle that badly. Oh, he held on to it. Wow, because that's my problem is she doesn't hold on to it. Or so what you can do is listen to an experience and realize there was another part to that. And it was important that when he stopped driving, life still went on because mom was the co-chauffeur until when you think for a second, what else do we know about Carolyn and her mom from how we started the conversation?
She was the chauffeur. She was happy to
She
drive.
was, but she also then developed her own dementia.
She did. Yeah.
But right now, in that moment, when dad was giving up his driving because mom still could drive and she was the chauffeur, it was all good. And then Carolyn goes on and talks more. So let's hear from Royden, though, because that's why I said it's like a group of experiences. Mom's, dad's experience was different. Mom, two different ones for Carolyn, even. But let's listen to Royden a little bit.
Martha, probably not so much. How about your dad or your mom?
Well, when it came time for mom not to drive anymore, my dad was a chauffeur, and
So there
he
you
was
go.
generally the driver in
Okay,
the family.
yep.
So that was fine. It wasn't a real big problem with mom. But dad was a handful, and he also had macular degeneration, so his eyesight.
So there was a reason why he shouldn't be driving beyond the dementia, which is he didn't have
Correct.
center field vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But it didn't stop him.
No, and he ran his own company, construction company, and
He
trucks.
was the boss of a whole bunch of people.
Oh yeah, he was used to being in charge, right?
Yeah.
So, something needed to change, and we were having a hard time. And I finally went to Dad, and I said, Dad, I'm concerned about something. He's like, well, what are you concerned about? I don't want you to be concerned. Oh, well, I'm sort of concerned about your ability to drive. And he's like, well, you don't need to be concerned about that. It's like, okay, well, I am. And he's
Okay,
like,
we'll pause. So we have more of the classic, typical situation where I'm going to try to address this. I'm going to try to see if I can't get dad to recognize how risky and dangerous this is. And we have the typical reaction from somebody who's always been the boss, always been in charge, still wants to be in charge, doesn't recognize the damage. Yeah. So we could watch and listen and see how that resolves because yeah, it does work out, but it's more interesting. And then we're going to listen to a third where it's a little different. And this is a long distance caregiver. Let's check in with that.
All right, well, one more story. Anything in particular you want to add to the mix?
Well, so my grandmother was never that fond of driving.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't that big of a deal
Okay.
when she didn't drive anymore, other than when she was at my dad's and she's like, I want to go back home. And no one would take her back home. She would demand keys. But we had taken her keys a while ago. But I also was that healthcare provider. So I had more patience where I had to help them make the decision with driving. A little bit more compassionate than the way that the provider you described. But I'm also a gerontologist. So
you
I
have
know
a
how to
little more-
approach these
How do you-
matters a little
Okay,
bit
so
more,
I'll pause us because what we see three very different human beings with three very five, six different situations they've dealt with. And so what you get to see in this 12-minute clip is the potential to find some of yourself, some of your situation in it. And then at the very end, we do something that's, we think, helpful. For those of you who are really in this and you need more, at the very end, we have a screen up. So let me show you what the screen does at the very end, because it's like, oh, one more thing that you might find helpful. So there's some additional clips in the premium app that allow you to do this, like the decision to evaluate. What all is involved in the decision to evaluate? How do you do that? What's that look like? And then a conversation with somebody whose driving status has changed. How do you have that conversation when they don't remember that we've done that change, perhaps? So I'll pause here because, again, our goal with the app is to give people what are called micro training opportunities. Take it 12 minutes. You can break it into small pieces, but it gives you this chance to see more clearly, give yourself an opportunity to learn, give yourself an opportunity to practice, to share it with somebody and try some things out before you actually try to use something. So we're hoping this app provides family care partners, individual care individuals, community individuals with some skill sets or knowledge sets they didn't have before. And again, We have a version that's free, and we have a premier version for those of you who are going to like dig deep and live long and need more.
And one thing, Teepa, that's really nice about the premium app, the part when you get the premium subscription, is that you can create a playlist. So
Mhm.
one of the huge benefits of that is you get an opportunity to take these videos as you find the ones that are like, wow, that was really helpful. Wow, that's really useful. Create a playlist. And if other people in your life, other people on this journey
Mhm.
with you who are supporting, who are providing that support, also have that, you can share that playlist with them. So you all have the same set of videos to watch from, to go check out and share with each other. Hey, I saw
Yeah.
this one the other day. It was really helpful. I'm adding it to the playlist. So the ability to be able to do those pieces with the videos you find helpful to make them readily available, easy to find and easy to share when you have that premium part.
So, for those of you out there who are also wanting to help with other people, like run a little mini support group activity, this would be a great way that y'all could share visually what and experience something together and then talk from there. So, we believe it's a good base content skill set that allows people to open conversations, to open the box, to look inside and not be freaked out, to realize, so other people are experiencing this kind of thing too. We're going to take dementia out of this isolated sort of only if situation and make it more commonplace to talk about brain changes, to talk about typical aging or not, to talk about driving issues, to talk about macular degeneration. Oh, my mom has that. Oh, okay. Don't approach it that way. That didn't work so well. Let's try this. So, our goal is to change radically the culture of care because we believe people living with brain changes that come with dementia and those who support them deserve more than they get. So, our effort, thank you, Royden, we have an app. And thanks to all of you out there who choose to share what you get so that others can also learn. Thanks, everybody.